Lawson. Sean was just chatting about the preparation for what is a massive game this week. How are you preparing for another huge finals?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to keep it as normal as possible. Don't want to, overemphasise how important the game is. Obviously, it is a super important game, but I think I've learned over the years that if you just keep your routine and keep everything as normal as possible, it's probably the best way to, mentally and physically prepare for the game. So yeah, I'll just try and do what I've done all year and prepare as best I can.
You're a young player yourself. When you sit in the locker room with the Dangerfield and Cameron, what are these guys sort of talking about? What are they telling you?
Yeah, they're probably not necessarily giving advice, but you just see how they go about it. They have a really good understanding of what they like to do and what's going to prepare them best for playing their best on the weekend. So I think you can just learn a lot from just watching these guys and seeing how they do it. And I think that's been probably the beauty of having those guys around, is that experience and that dedication to their craft and stuff. You kind of get a greater understanding of the work that goes into it. And I think for me that's probably been with those older guys, more experienced guys, learning from them, from what they do, not necessarily what they say, but what they do. And I think that's held us in good stead all year.
You seem really chilled out. The whole club does, to be fair. When does your spine start tingling ahead of a big game like this?
Yeah, I'll probably start listening to music pre-game. Like, music's probably the one for me. So it'll probably be a couple of hours before and you start to get pretty excited. But travelling into Melbourne, I'll probably chill out until I get to the game, because you don't want to get too amped up too early. But I think as a group we have a pretty good, we're a pretty good group at just staying really composed and calm, and then when we need to go, we go. So I think I'll be pretty much, once the first siren goes this week, I'll be ready to go.
What do you listen to pre-game?
Well, I'm a pretty, even my music's pretty chill. So the last song I'll listen to before I play will be How to Make Gravy by Paul Kelly. So not necessarily a hype song, but that's one that kind of gets me in the zone. And I kind of have songs that are sentimental to me, and that's kind of what gets me excited to play footy.
Just looking inside, Jeremy Cameron seems pretty relaxed as well. I mean, how do these guys prepare for the big game, and how do you observe?
Yeah, well, Jez is out here. He's been yelling out my name for the last half an hour, trying to distract me in the presser. So he's and that's just how he is. Like, he's such a chill guy, and he's probably one that he's so consistent with his moods and how he trains. And he comes to the club with so much energy every day. He does his routine. I reckon I could almost name his routine of what he does pre-training, and that's because these guys are so consistent. And that's probably what makes them so good, is because they have that consistency in their daily lives, and I think that's what makes them so consistent on the days when they play. So, seeing those guys go to work and be really consistent and good leaders, it's been really important, and I guess shows why he's been so good this year.
We talk about consistency. What do you think makes Geelong so good and always in the finals talk?
Yeah, I think we just have a really good balance of and an understanding of what our goals are. So obviously every year your goal is to play finals, and I think the group understands what it takes to get there, and they really put the work in the pre-season, and in season we have a really good strength and conditioning group that look after us really well, get us prepped for the big games, and to be ready coming into September. But I think also mentally we do a lot of work as a group, individually but still as a group, on trying to be, mentally really well prepared for what's ahead. And I think that's just as important as anything. And we're probably lucky to be away from Melbourne, because I would imagine Melbourne being super hectic, and out here it's obviously for me it's a 10-minute drive home every day, which is pretty easy, and for worse it's 15. So I guess probably the lifestyle helps as well a bit with that.
Talking about that travel, would you rather play the game here on Friday night, or would you rather be at the G?
It's a tough one. Obviously, GMHBA is home, but I personally like the big ground. I like lots of space. I'm not necessarily an inside bull, so I much prefer having a bit more space to run on the wings and at half-back. So I'm pretty happy to play at the G. And I think also as a kid, you grow up and you want to play the big games at the G. I think if we could get 90,000 to the game, compared to, even though it'll predominantly be Geelong supporters, probably taking the 90,000 over the 40,000. But it's a privilege to play at the G, and it's a home of footy, so I think I'd prefer to play at the G.
With the stakes so high, are you gearing up to rip off those kicks early in the game and take risks, or do you need to be a bit more conservative?
Yeah, I think I guess I've played a lot of finals, even like pre AFL, and I think for me is the players that do the simple things right, in my opinion, are the ones that play the best in finals. So I think if I just play my way and don't try to do too much, because I think in finals you see teams that maybe aren't as experienced, they might come in and try and pull off those kicks early, a couple of turnovers early, and it's just like in those games you don't really want to give momentum up easily. So I think for me it'll just be about, if it's there, I definitely take it, but if it's not, like I'm happy to, if that means being a bit safer, I'll also take that too. So I'll just take what's in front of me. But yeah, obviously no problems kicking the ball into the middle of the ground, trying to open it up, but yeah.
So you listen to How to Make Gravy, you run out onto the grounds. How do you think Geelong matches up with Brisbane?
Yeah, well, I guess they've had the wood over us. So I think they've won the last three, but I think our best is as good as anybody's, and I think every team will say that they feel their best is as good as anybody's. But I think we've proven, I think we've got a really good record against the top teams, and I think we just probably haven't played our best against Brisbane, and we're going to do a lot of work and try and figure out why that is and how we can play at our best. So I feel pretty confident that we're going to play really well and beat them, hopefully. But yeah, it is definitely a lot of, we put a lot of work into Brisbane because, like you say, they've had the wood over us for a bit, so we've definitely got to put a bit of work into that.
Do you know who you line up on?
Nah, not sure yet. I assume just one of their half forwards. So Kalachi plays up there maybe, but yeah, not sure. Yeah.
From memory, that last game, they took your interceptors away a bit. They refused to bomb the ball long at all and kind of chip through you. Has that been on a whiteboard at all during the week?
I reckon probably after that game, a few teams saw that and potentially tried to do that as well. So we've probably had good practice in the second half of the year of teams trying to be a bit more, precise with their ball movement. So I definitely think as a group we've trained that really well, and if I'm honest, that's probably the beauty of those games where you lose. You actually learn a lot from them, and I felt like we learnt a lot from that, and we've had good practice because I felt like a lot of teams have also tried to do that against us. So it definitely will be something that we're aware of, and hopefully we can mitigate that as much as we can.